Hi there, welcome to Dave in the Shed. I'm Dave and this is my little corner of the world, also known as the Shed Mahal. Now if you're into DIY, 3D printing and model trains, you've come to the right place. Now fair warning, I do things a little bit differently. I have cerebral palsy, which means sometimes things get a little bit creative around here, but hey, it just makes it more fun. So if you like making, fixing, and maybe even breaking things along the way, stick around. Hit that subscribe button and let's build something awesome together. G'day folks, welcome to this week's show, or this week's version, or this week's episode, or this week's chapter, whatever you want to call it, of Dave in the Shed. Now I haven't been in the shed in a week because of the crookedness, really meant to be taking it easy and shutting down, but I thought I'd just come out the shed, check everything out okay, not going to spend too long, and I thought I'd have a quick fiddle with the chainsaw. And what I've done is I disassembled the gearbox totally, cleaned out all the old grease, filled the gearbox up with new grease. Almost forgot to attach the motor because I was having so much almost therapeutic time pulling apart, cleaning it all up, putting it all back together. Forgot that, hang on, you've got to put the motor in, Dave. So I've done all that. The gearbox is all assembled and tested. Now all the gears and all the bearings are magic condition. Didn't need to be, didn't need disassembling, but that and the only reason we had to is because the motor brushes failed. Remember on that? Been so long ago since I worked on it. But I'll just show you this now. This is going to jump around like a mad goat. I did have it clamped to the desk when I broke the clamp, but that's all ready to go back in. I might, after I get it all assembled, because I've still got the old motor, we might do an autopsy on it, and I've got the bits and pieces. I might do a bit of research online, see if there is a modern brushless motor, a tool industrial type motor that'll fit in this and do that as a replacement. Because this motor, the new one, once again, although this will be a backup saw, it won't be my regular saw because you've got the new one to be the regular saw as a backup, it eventually will have the same issue. The brushes eventually will fail. At least I might either do a rebuild on this one, so I'll have a spare, see if I can find new brushes, rebuild it, which when I was searching for brushes online, the only rebuild kit I could find was the full replacement. I might then see if there's a more modern replacement brushless motor that we can source from somewhere to then have a spare or do a retro rebuild kit. Anyway, that's too much, but that's all we're up to on the little chainsaw. Thought I'd just show you that yeah. I just tested it, everything works fine. It's now a matter of starting the assembly. Now I did pull it apart even further than I said to, and took the oil tank out and cleaned all that, and I've done a big clean up. Got as much of the old muck out as possible. I thought, well, if we're going to this far extreme, look, we might as well give it a decent makeover. Now it really is just a matter of putting things in place and screwing back together. There's one circlip to go back on. I'm not sure if I'm going to put the original one on or replace it. But all the bearings, all the bits and pieces, all the moving parts, everything in there is in great condition. It's just a pity that failure point was those brushes. But anyway, we will have to see, because next time it failed, it will probably be worth rebuilding again if we can get the bits. Because really, for the it's about 6 years old. The wear and the tear in the gearbox is beautiful. In fact, even the grease was lovely. But anyway, It was almost a pity to clean it all out and replace the grease. But no, we cleaned it all out, took back the bearings, inspected all the bearings, re-greased everything, repacked everything, and I'm now reassembling. having a little bit of reassemble. Don't know how much I'll get done today because I am meant to be on light duties or restricted duties, but I'll have a bit more play, see what we're going up to. Anyway, talk to you later. Hello and welcome to this week's video from Dave in the Shed. It's Tuesday, mid-morning. Just started to film some stuff so the world doesn't get away from me this week. Look at this. Got the chainsaw all back together. How's that for Mickey Duck stuff? All back together, all done. I'll try and do this one-handed and film, but runs all good. Don't know how much you can see of that, but all runs all good. I did a slight stuff up. The case isn't perfect here to get together. And I tried to clamp it up and pull up, but it's just one of those things. Look, the thing works fine. It's safe. Just be careful we don't get too much muck down there. Might even seal up a bit of silicone grease in there. Anyway, it is back together. Now, I was a little bit worried because I filled it up with bar oil. I don't know if it's good advice or not good advice, but I tend to not leave chainsaws sitting around without bar oil in them. People tend to say, oh, I should drain all the oil out, refill it. But if anybody grabs the chainsaw and runs off and doesn't check it, you can do damage. So I leave mine sitting around, a bit of bar oil on it. It's not full, but it's enough to somebody grabs it and uses it without checking it, including me. I was a bit worried about the oil pressure pump because it's a manual system, and when I put it back together and was testing it, I pumped it a few times. Yeah, put it down, everything seems to run okay. Put it in the box, but it's leaked oil everywhere. Yeah, there's oil coming out of it. So it's definitely bar oiling up because that wasn't in the box before I sat down the saw in it the other day. But so I can definitely say, yes, everything's working fine. It's oiling up. It's doing okay. So, yeah, back together and running. Look at this nice display. Now, not sponsored by Ryobi, but nice display of Ryobi chainsaws that I'm just sitting here to enjoy looking over. They really should go back in the back shed and get locked up in the back shed, but we'll just enjoy the view here, will we, for a bit? We'll just look at them and enjoy them. So this saw is back together. It's running. It will be the spare saw. The new brushless one will be the main saw, but this one is good to have as a spare and a backup. Haven't sharpened it yet, so that's the last thing to do is sharpen it up, and then I'll be back in service. I should really put a new chain and a new bar on it, but it's a backup saw. So we'll just sharpen it and we'll use it. Knowing me, it'll probably become the main saw because it's an old favourite, and I'll go, oh, I'll grab this one instead of using the new one. And that happens. Anyway, that's what we're up to on that. The aeroplanes, gluing up aeroplanes left, right and centre. So we've got the air tractors here, so like sitting down and gluing the bits and pieces in. Got the Piper Arrow over the back and doing some bits and pieces. Just going to do these as at this stage it's for toys, just doing up to see how they look. Whether I put paint on it or not, I'll just decide. But not the arrow, the Piper Arrow. Just done for a bit of a fun. Just done for a bit of a toy mode at this stage. Not going to get serious. Done some fancy printing bits in different colours just to add to a highlight. That's, yeah, thought I'd say that. So playing with those. And about to start work on the major track work because surprise, surprise, this morning the track. Very rarely does things Australia Post arrive on time and as expected. But here we are, here are the new sections of track. And going to play with, as discussed, as this section layout, there is a point to go in here, so I've got to do that. I've got to strip down the locos out of the depot and all that. So that's my next big adventure is what I'm going to do and start on that when I finish doing this video to keep me entertained and out of trouble for the next couple of days. I'm meant to be taking it easy, so I'll not rush into it. But yeah, that's the next thing is to start disassembling that and pull the bits and pieces out. So that's what we're going to get underway with this week. And I'm about to track on with that and play with my aeroplanes and tidy up these chainsaws, although I do like looking at my rower chain. I don't know what it is, appealing to having them there and looking at it and go, ooh, chainsaws. But at this stage, I won't be doing anything much because I'm meant to be on light duties for a bit. Much improved health-wise this week. Still feeling a bit rough around the edges, doing bits and pieces, but better, which is the thing. Well, if I was on that amount of antibiotics and didn't feel better, we had a serious problem. But we still could have some issues. But anyway, heading in the right direction, I believe. Anyway, I'll crack on with some stuff. I shall talk to you later. Well, so this is the first bit of destruction. Waiting for the camera to show me if it's a recording or not. So I've very carefully cut using the Dremel in a few spots the track, and using my favourite glue remover, WD-40, sprayed a bit of WD-40 down. Then using chisels and scrapers, I have removed a lot of the waste. Well, not waste, but the old track. Been attacking the baseboard down to dead level to try and get all the old bits and pieces of scatter material. So, don't know what I used to glue some of this track down. I thought I used PVA. But yeah, some of it was tough as old boots. Anyway, haven't cut this bit of track back here, which used to be the main line, which will now be my outside line, because I've got to actually exactly work out where the new track will join in, but we'll do that in a sec. But I'm just heating up the soldering iron because there's a few little tag ends that I have to unsolder and pull out, but I've cut the track in those spots, and then we'll pull out and remove just because it's easier to do least of our damage. And there's one little soldered joint right there that I will have to unsolder and then disassemble, and then we can start laying in some new track and trying to get things sorted and locate stuff. So that's the next step. Hopefully do that before lunchtime, then I'll knock off no lunch break. I'll undo the old track and do some bits and pieces, but it is a slowly catch the monkey track. But yeah, hopefully by later today we will have trains back in service. But anyway, there's no rush. There's no train scheduled for the day because the line's broken. Well, I did a bit more work than what I was planning to do before I stopped for lunch, so I'm about to have a stop for a lunch break. But there you go. I have all the new track in situ. It's as good as what I expected. The next trick is I need to secure it down in a few spots and yeah, get it sort of like down and neat. Check for power continuity. Check we've got power circuit. Attach some track feeders if we need to, and then run some trains. It's good as what I could have expected. The joints are a little bit, this one here, we'll call that an expansion joint. I'll just spread the track out evenly either side, but yeah, it'll work. I'm happy. We've got everything done. I did stuff up one joint, but okay. Had to cut the track again. Not the ideal situation, but okay, we allowed for that. I bought an extra piece of track as spare that I will use for some other spots I want to do, just in case I stuffed up kids. But yep, that's okay. It's not too bad. Not all is lost. We've got the job done. Anyway, I'm going to have some lunch and yeah, get on with the project a bit more. Talk about win some, lose some days. This is Wednesday morning, mid-morning. It's going to be one of those days where we wins and losses. Yeah. Look, I'll just show you this. This is one of my spare cassettes that I use for storing trains, and I can move them on and off the layout that fit in like up there. And I'll do it probably, yeah. So I've actually laid some track in that. Now I've got all the track laid up and running, powered up, and I'll do some videos a bit later of running some trains. But it's a bit cold in the shed this morning. Now look, I was only up the street for an hour and a half. Oh, not even that. And in that time, I've missed the postman, would you believe? The stuff that I wanted to work on this afternoon's won't be in the post office till 4 o'clock. Oh, now I'm losing my mic, which is not a problem. Look, I'm going to be up the street every day this week because I've got another doctor's appointment tomorrow morning, so I'll go and grab that from the post office tomorrow morning. Okay, so like put it back. But yesterday when I went to fire up the good old magic diesel heater in the corner, the pump wasn't priming properly. So I thought, okay, we'll just get online and buy a new pump, new diesel pump. Turn it on this morning, it's dead, nothing. The power supply, and I've tested it, everything, power supply is not supplying power whatsoever. Power supply is dead. So after last night ordering the pump, it may not be the diesel pump. It may have been a failing power supply that just wasn't running enough energy through the system to power the pump, which I didn't check. So she's a bit cold in the shed this morning. It's okay, I'll just do what I can do and pull along. I just went and pulled out the spare gas heater. Little companion gas heater that runs off bottles, and it's leaking like a sieve. So, yeah, backup heater. It's not working either, which is not fun and games. Anyway, what I'm going to do is poke along is, since I'm doing on the track work, there's a bit of track in here that's been a bit dodgy. This bit here heading up Ryobi Hill. Not sponsored by Ryobi, just because that's where the batteries and chargers are. And I'm going to have a go at swapping that and just poke along. That's probably about it. And then I might run a train and take a bit of video of me running the train up and down the hill. But anyway, that's the plan for this morning. We will poke along. Can't do anything without me spare parts. Can't pick them up till 4. Yeah, okay. That's the plan for today. So I'll have a bit of a crack at that and get going. Look, did I show you how good this other bit looked? Now it's all done. I've put the shed back in, put the bits and pieces back in, the lights, just that light, so it'll look good. And I've been running the 1410 up and down the line, and it hasn't derailed, so that's good. So yeah, and I had to move the diesel tanks and that, but it'll be all come back together okay. There's a diesel filling station in the shed. This used to be the end of the line, and I extended it. Hence, hole in the shed and the reworks and bits and pieces. Anyway, that's where we're up to today. I'm going to fiddle around with this bit of track, and I'll probably run a train and show you, but that's about it. And working on aeroplanes in the background at the same time. Okay, I'll get out of your hair. Well, this is pushing me luck. I've got camera in one hand, controller in the other, and train D2. Well, hit your nose. Had to run down the main line. It could all end in disaster. So this is all the newer line track, all bits and pieces. I've got to build a new bridge here now. Well, new bridge sides. So some nice bridge sides. Run down here, down the layout, through the tunnel, which isn't a tunnel, which is also the loco shed. So this is actually now the main line, not the running line. Whoop, bit of a hickey through there. We've got to do a bit more track cleaning in some spots. Down through there. I adjusted a expansion joint in the bridge here that was causing a few problems yesterday. Done all that. And you can run around. I don't want to go too far because there's an express train parked there. And stop there. Go around a bit of a look at going up the hill. So, yeah. We're expecting visitors. There's a long weekend coming, bank holiday for those who don't know. And we're going to have some visitors, different times over the weekend. And somebody's bound to want to, at some stage, say, oh, can we see a train run? And, well, we do have the line back in semi-operation. Fair enough, I'm only running light engine movements at the moment, but I've got to do a bit more cleaning, a bit more stuffing around, but we will have the capability of having something running, even if it is the CPH as a backup up and down the line. Should pull it out, give it a good clean and make sure it runs. Because it's a train in its own right, isn't it? The CPH? Yeah. Now I was running the 1410, the big NJ as my test unit, but there's a little bit spots where it's a bit tight, a bit dicky, so it will run up and down the hill, but don't want to show it on video and embarrass myself when it goes, oh, stop there, stop there, stop there, and has a bit of a hitch. But in this case, these are the locos that were designed to run up on the hill. Nice little industrial units. Can bring the train up here. Now this is the same unit we recently put the Keep Alive in. I actually might have to turn the volume up in this in the DCC settings, because even though I don't run a lot of trains, the actual engine noise, the motor noise, the electric motor inside, can be heard louder than the actual loco running. I did turn all the locos down because I found them a bit annoying, but in this case I may have done overkill. But there you go. Train. Actual running full length for the... Lost sight of it now. I have no idea where it is. Oh, we're in there. Come across Possum's Bridge. And stop there on a bit of a dead track. It's always the way. Run up and down, ran perfectly. But anyway, I will give the track a really, really good clean. Get it running up and down. But yep, it is operational. Well, conclude this week's video. We'll bring it to an end. It's Friday mid-morning. It is a terribly freezing cold day without my big diesel heater running and operating. It's not a very nice experience. I really don't want to hang around the shed too long. I have got the backup little companion butane-powered machine running. I did a bit of work on the seals, lubricated the seals up and did a bit of bits and pieces and changed out the bottle that was bottle leaking or seals leaking. Anyway, the bottle I had in it was leaking, but yep, it's a little bit of comfort heat, but it's not enough to keep the place nice and warm to make it workable. But anyway, that is interesting. I haven't got really much, but I just want to show you one more thing before we wrap up this week's video. I have printed out and made new bridge sides for Ryobi Hill Bridge, for the Ryobi Hill. But look at this, nicely printed up in Ryobi lime green filament and nice elaborate sides. So gee, it makes it look fantastic. Makes the bridge pop out and look realistic and look mighty and industrial. These bits are just designed to slide on and off the timber beam on the side of the bridge, so they can pop in and off. So it allows you to get in and maybe I get it off one, get it back on one-handed now. Anyway, they drop in like that, slide in and out and line up, and you can also pull them in and out to access the batteries in the back. But there, that just nicely finishes up Ryobi Hill. I did move the landmark signal just up the track a little bit to finish the bridge off. I don't know if you can see it plugged in the hole. So the landmark, a landmark signal, for those who haven't seen videos before, is a fixed caution, which means from that point on, just take it easy, which is down the hill. That's for trains coming facing this. So if you're coming from behind it, it doesn't matter, but if you're going down the hill, most signals in New South Wales on the left-hand side, a few exclusions not, but there you go. So, you know, just thought I'd show you that. So yeah, that's pretty dramatic. So that concludes this week. If you're living, we're expecting snow this weekend, long weekend. We're having some visitors. We're also expecting snow. It's probably going to be wet and miserable, they reckon, on Sunday. But anyway, so keep safe, keep warm. Don't forget, try something different. Do something different you don't normally do. Because in the words of Henry Ford, if you think you can, and if you think you can't, you're right. One of my most favourite sayings. Don't always apply it myself, but it sounds good. So yeah, don't forget, keep safe, look after yourself. Subscribe to this video. If you're not a subscriber, I don't know how you found this, subscribe. Don't forget a little like if you like it, and comment. If you've got any questions about what I've spoken about, what I've shown you, please comment. I'm happy to share any bits and pieces, any ideas, any thoughts I've got. But yeah, be in touch. Till then, I've been Dave in the Shed. You've been a lot of fun.